Twisted Travelers Podcast, your weekly dose of theme park news and entertainment. And now, here to talk all things coasters, theme parks, and even more, here are your hosts, Jack Lathrop and Chris Jones.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Twisted Travelers Podcast. I am Chris, and as always, I am joined by Jack. Jack, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I have my microphone back to myself now.
Yeah, it's all right. I'll be getting mine soon enough, thanks to Patreon, which we'll talk about in a minute.
And speaking of patrons, we have Bryant with us.
Hi,
Mr.
everybody.
Jersey Mike's Elite.
What's going on? It's good to be back.
Yes, our basically biggest supporter of the show is back, Mr. Jersey Mike's Elite himself. So, Bryant, welcome. All right. So what we're doing, this is the Great Trip Report Show, Part 3. We did Part 2 a couple weeks ago, then skipped, and now here we are. We just had a bit of a trip ourselves. Me and Jack were at Cedar Point and Kings Island, and then we joined with Bryant and Megan at Dollywood and Carowinds, so that's what we'll be talking about tonight. And this was Bryant's first time at both of those parks, so we're going to get some first reactions, which is great. All right. But before we can jump into anything, Patreon shoutouts. Thank you to our patrons, Bryant, who is here, Graham, Grant, Jaden, Mark, Allison, and 2 new patrons for the week, Eric and Mikhail. Thank you guys so much for the support. We appreciate it as always. If you want to join the Patreon, link in description. You get all sorts of benefits. Don't feel obligated or anything, but all the money comes back to the show, and of course, we appreciate it.
And don't forget to get your bingo boards out because Twisted Travelers Bingo is still on, and I'm pretty sure you can already cross off a couple, and we're only 2 minutes in.
I mean, of course. But also, Discord. Join the Discord, link in the description. Cross out that on bingo as well. Join it and give us questions. The questions have been popping lately. We've got more and more every single week. We've got more for this week. And if you want to give us something, if you have an idea, join it, and we will be sure to put it in next week. All right. We ready to get into it?
I think so. So, news this week, kind of light, but then we also have to talk about Mr. James Larson. So, also not light. But we'll start out with some good news. Lost Island theme park, this place in the middle of nowhere, Iowa, is actually progressing. They actually have roller coasters built and buildings built. So it's happening.
Mm-hmm. And yes, it looks very good. Kanonen has been complete for a little bit, but more and more flats are getting put up. One thing that was pointed out that looks awesome is that Gerstlauer Skyfly Dark Ride. Flat Ride is going to be added there. It's already basically done, it looks like. But yeah, it is big. It's a pile of dirt with rides on it, and it's making good progress. So I'm excited. I don't even know when it was going to open. Does anybody know? Jack?
I think the original plan was 2022, but I'm going to be honest, probably now looking at 2023 with COVID, but who knows? But the rate they're moving could easily open next year.
Yeah, it's looking good. All right. Next up, as we only have 5 things for news this week, so we'll make it kind of quick. Some wacko climbs Supreme Scream at Knott's Berry Farm. I don't know what to say.
At first when this popped up, I was like, this has to be from the Deep South because that was the most redneck thing I have ever seen. And that's coming from someone who kind of identifies as a redneck.
Ugh. But yeah.
Hey,
No comment
I live
there.
in East Tennessee. It's kind of, part of it.
Okay, whatever. Moving on. Yeah, so this dude climbed Supreme Scream. He did get down.
He did get arrested.
They took him in for like psychiatric evaluation to determine if he's insane or not, so that they know how to charge him for it. From what I heard.
Turns out it was a coaster enthusiast who just wanted a good view.
He was brigading knots until they RMC Ghost Rider.
That's not true, right?
No.
I wish.
I wouldn't be surprised, but
I
I mean,
wish
I've
that
always
was
made
true.
that joke. It's like, if they RMC insert ride here, I'll stand on top of it so they can't do it. But, this guy just
RMC
took it to a
Supreme
whole
Screen.
new extreme.
But yeah, my thoughts on this is everybody came out of COVID both bored and less intelligent, which I think is something that caused this. Hopefully, we don't see that again, considering all the crazy stuff that's happened in the amusement industry as of late. Not a fan of climbing drop towers. Don't turn this into a trend, please.
I will
You don't
definitely not
all
be doing
need.
that.
Yeah,
Thank you, Brian.
Bryant
You,
is
as
definitely
Brian
not
says.
gonna
I don't like climbing them on the actual ride, let alone without any restraint.
Hey, he did drop line though. A round of applause.
We'll
Hey,
get to that experience.
We'll get to
Yeah.
that. So, moving on though, Fuji Q basically has just taken all of our hopes and dreams and thrown them down the drain because, based off this concept art, they're getting a Mauer spike coaster. Isn't this the ride that was supposed to cost $30 million or something?
Well, okay, so spike coasters a lot of times, or in some cases, have come dueling. That's what the concept art showed. So if you figure 15 million for each one, but
I still don't see that.
but it's kind of, if that's what they're getting, that's a little bit disappointing because their ops have already been known to be terrible. Now you're giving them a spike, which has some horrible capacity to start. The rides don't look like they do a whole lot, and I know with the 30 million price tag, a lot of people, including myself, are hoping for something bigger, but we don't always get what we want.
Still feels incredibly small for $30 million. I
It
mean,
depends on
granted,
how big they make
Onion
it.
is small for $30 million.
They could make it like 6,000 feet long. You never know.
I mean, I guess. Just imagine though, because you can control your speed on that, so you're gonna get like the old grandma that goes like 2 miles an hour through the whole layout.
Well, yeah. And also, I'm pretty sure part of that is they could only run like one train on each side.
Uh-huh.
So add that in with Fuji Q ops. That's not good. Okay, Wikipedia claims that Desmo Race at Mirabilandia, which is a dueling spike coaster, cost 25 million euros. So
25 million euros. That's gonna be. In what year?
that was like 2019, I think. 2018, 2019. Am I wrong, Mr. Coaster 365?
I
I
have
see
no
you
clue.
looking.
No, I was just looking to see Mirabilandia's lineup. That's
Oh.
well,
Yeah, the only things you care about there.
I don't have the costs
Platoon
of
and
these
Ice
rides
Cream.
written down. No, I don't think I've ever posted like how much this ride is. Maybe Everest when it came out because it was super expensive.
Hagrid.
Yeah, Hagrid just tripled it or whatever it was.
Hagrid's was like all of the money.
No budget.
We'll take all of it.
All the galleons.
Anyway,
It was
it's still just one of those things that's kind of making me bat my eyes a little and just raises some questions that hopefully will get answered here in the next couple of years, but you never know.
Yeah, whatever. That's what they're getting. Sure. Okay.
James, you
yeah.
killed Europe. Nice going.
Yes, he did. So Belgium has flooded. Conda is underwater. Wallaby, Belgium. We saw a ton of pictures of it completely flooded. If you don't know what we're talking about, our friend James Larson basically is a sign of bad things to come when he travels to Europe. Every time he's gone to France, there's been a terrorist attack or something along those lines.
So yeah, let's just lay it out. James was at the soccer stadium when the suicide bomb happened. He was on the Rhine River watching Notre Dame burn down. Now he's been in Poland, or not Poland. Well, Poland's next, if you ask my opinion. He's been in Belgium and Germany like a week before it said, let's flood. So, Poland, you're next. Europe, watch out. And James Larson, you are the doomsday clock.
Yeah.
All of the love, man. But seriously, we got to talk about this.
He's not going to Europe with us. It's not an option, James. Stay home.
So I'm talking with my mom. So for those of you who don't know, I was supposed to go to Europe with James, Blake, and Mia last fall. I'm talking to my mom this last week, and telling her about all this, and she's like, maybe it's a good thing you didn't go with them.
Yeah, James, is bad news for Europe, but Wallaby Belgium still has not reopened, I believe, because of this.
No. And from some of the stuff we've heard, Conda could be far enough underwater or it might already be done for its inaugural season.
Well, wait, what? No, that's crazy.
No, I've read some stuff that where they built the ride is actually like just in the floodplains as is. And so some of the footers are deep enough underwater where they've actually got some structural issues already. So if that's
Great planning.
true, great. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's fantastic. Rip Conda. Ugh, that actually.
Again, that's just the stuff I've heard and read, so don't take it for fact, but I have definitely seen multiple places say that Conda might be done for the year.
So, basically, James stopped traveling to Europe. That's what we've learned. Okay. Our last news thing is one that's very weird, and that is Six Flags over Fresno.
Gimme.
Whatever. Okay, you already have a park in North California. This one doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense as to why you need one up there, like a second one.
Third
but
one.
I'm not gonna a second one in North California.
See, Fresno's like halfway between the two.
It's still more north than south, isn't it?
It's about halfway between the two.
Jack just wants one near Yosemite. He just wants a Yosemite theme park combo. I can see it in his eyes.
It's exactly what I want. I want a park in Fresno, and then I have Yosemite right there. I'm moving there. If this park gets built, I'm moving to Fresno.
Hey, he's not going to be near us anymore. Yeah, let's go. But, okay, so it doesn't make a lot of sense to me still. I'm not going to complain about a new theme park, though. But Six Flags don't go bankrupt by buying parks and building new parks and 20 coasters in a year. You've already done that once. Learn your lesson. Move on. Please. But yeah, a lot of people thought this was going to be a relocation of Discovery Kingdom, which it doesn't look to be. And they said, what, 300 million among hotels and all that around the area, too? So, who knows? And who knows if it will ever happen.
Discovery Kingdom would make no sense because where it's at is it's got a great market share because people on the East Coast look at the Bay Area and it's like, oh, it's easier to navigate. No, it's like 45 to an hour to get from San Francisco down to the south side of the Bay. It's another 45 back up to where Discovery Kingdom is. So it's not like an easy part to just hop around. And so you've got a theme park over there that can service that side of the bay. You've got the one on the south side of the bay. And while they do compete to some extent, they also don't just because of how densely populated it is out there.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Who knows if it'll ever happen? My guess is no, since Six Flags, plans things that don't happen. It's just kind of their thing. So yeah.
Yep.
That will do it for news. Okay. Listener questions.
Yep.
You guys have been going off.
Actually, no, I forgot to put it in here. Guess what's back, people?
Oh my gosh.
It's movie review time.
Oh god, here we go.
Bryant, do you want to start a different thing in Zencastr where we can just go talk for a bit until he's done and then he can just message us?
How rude of him to just say, oh, we're going to talk about it this week without neither of our permissions. He's just like, oh, we're just going to talk about it. Oh,
I know, this is a theme park podcast and Jack thinks it's okay for him to just run through it with these movie reviews. Like when we do off-topic stuff, what do? I talk for maybe 3 minutes.
I texted you and told you I was going to keep it to 3 minutes. Y'all are just complaining now, so you are the ones dragging it out right now.
You get full Buck reports every week when the season starts. Jack needs to agree to that. Mostly Tom Brady reports, but
I mean,
so Bryant can sit there and just absolute pleasure and feel himself up.
Whoa, easy there, buddy.
During my Tom Brady report, I can just see Bryant sitting out in his car on the way to work listening to it. Oh yeah, Tom.
Listen.
7 rings.
Family podcast.
7 rings.
Listen.
Okay, so Black Widow. I'm just jumping in now and cutting that off before it gets any crazier.
Time to turn
Black Widow was exactly the movie I wanted it to be. It was not the best MCU movie. It was not the worst MCU movie. basically, I'm not going to do spoilers or anything because I'm not about that, but it hits on a lot of themes for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They're going to become extremely huge in Phase 4. If you've watched Loki, you watched Falcon Winter Soldier, you watched WandaVision, you probably know what I mean. It was just a very different movie from what the rest of the MCU is, and I guess it's a lot of what people were expecting too, because I see everyone else's reviews and they're like bad, boring, bland, and it's like, this is exactly the movie we were supposed to get. It's just, it's not gonna be Endgame, people. It's not got every superhero known to mankind. Anyway, there's my tangent about people complaining about the movie. Movie was good. Post-credit scene blew my freaking mind, and I about fell out of my chair. Again, go watch. If you've watched Falcon Winter Soldier, you know why. Basically, here's what I'm saying. Great jumping point for Phase 4. It was good. I want to see it again. I'm just going to wait until it's probably on Disney Plus for free because it was not good enough to go re-see in theaters. But also, we have Eternals and 10 Rings and Spider-Man 3 and Thor, and all of those are coming out in the next 6 months. So, huge time for MCU releases. There's basically my Black Widow rant, but really the big thing about my big takeaway from the movie is the themes it set up were 100% on purpose. And while this happened 7 years before the events of Endgame and the events of Phase 4 kickoff, the themes are definitely right where they need to be for Phase 4. So, okay, Chris, you can turn your mic back up. I'm done now.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. After skipping forward that 2 minutes of the show, now we can get back into it. We hope you enjoyed scrubbing forward in Spotify. So, listener questions. You guys have been popping lately. Thank you to the Discord. If you're not already, join the Discord once again. Here we go. We have 9 questions this week, which I think might be either tied for or the most we have ever had, so we appreciate it. Okay, first question. What park food have you eaten and immediately regretted it? That's from John Mike.
I have a great answer to this one. Kings Island, August of 2017. I had a funnel cake. I haven't had a funnel cake since because it made me that sick.
Okay. Bryant?
That's also ironically my answer, but at Hershey. Not because it was bad, just that first bite, oh my god, and then I can't not finish it because I'm at Hershey and you don't throw chocolatey things out at Hershey. And I was sick for probably about 48 hours after that.
Oh,
and also
that's a bad one.
We drove back that night. My dad, one of my friends, and I all had funnel cake. We stopped multiple times. It wasn't pretty.
I also kind of have a hot take about food.
Oh boy.
This isn't really a regret, but I love Knoebels, you guys know that.
Mm-hmm.
If their food wasn't as cheap as it is, and they didn't have the variety that they do, it's just
Oh yeah, no,
I can
cheapness
see
is what makes their food.
The cheapness is what makes it a
But
lot
it's not-
better than it really
It's not that
is.
good.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. I think since becoming an enthusiast, I haven't had a food that's done that to me. But when I was young, probably 8 or 9 years old, at Kings Island, I ate way too much stuff. I think I did have a funnel cake. I think I had something else, and also bacon cheese fries in one day. And I threw up at the hotel. So that was the last time I had any bad food-related theme park story, but nothing in recent memory. Okay. Question number 2. This one comes from our guest, Bryant himself. Which is worse, Nighthawk or Blazing Fury with Jack? So, for me...
Now, Dolly, you be careful because I got a week back. Week back or not, Luther, here I come. There's your answer.
I'm going to put up a poll in the
Fury
Discord. So vote yes if you want this show to stop now, and vote no if you, for some reason, like Jack. So
I'm going to tell this whole story, by the way, when we get to my
okay,
report of Dolly.
I'll do mine quick.
The There's a very
think
simple answer to this.
I think I have to go Blazing Fury with Jack.
Yeah,
And not
no.
just because it's annoying, very, very annoying, but it's like secondhand embarrassment because it's like you're sitting with this massive nerd kid who for some reason knows all the words to this old-timey dark ride roller coaster hybrid. Like,
It looks like you've been kissing that steam train.
no one cares. Like,
Fire in the hole!
Jack. Did you ever think that people just want to enjoy their rides?
That's how I enjoy that ride.
Do you ever think about other people?
Not when I'm on that ride.
Okay, I'll ask you, Bryant. Would you rather ride Vortex at Carowinds or ride Blazing Fury with Jack again?
You mean Nighthawk?
Okay, you know what? Let's just get to the Blazing
did-
Fury
He
report
didn't
now.
do Nighthawk, so go ahead.
So yeah, we get on Blazing Fury, and Jack starts at the top of his lungs, going word for word every line in the damn ride. And the first line, I was like, "Oh my god, this is going to be incredibly annoying."
Yeah.
Then I heard Chris's reaction and how mad he was getting, and I'm like, you know what? Keep going, Jack. This is going to be funny.
hate you.
The answer is 100%. I would rather do that than ever ride Vortex in my life again. Because
Man.
Jack just has that way of angering you, but making you smile about it.
Not me.
That's why it's funny. If you were there, if you weren't there, it wouldn't have been as
Come
funny.
on. Okay, fine. If I'm not there and you have to deal with that, would you rather ride Blazing Fury with Jack by yourself, sitting next to him, and everybody can see you, or ride Vortex again?
I'm never riding Vortex again.
I would just like to point out it's dark in there, so they have no clue who is sitting next to me.
Good point.
They can hear it, so we pull into the station.
Oh no, trust me, I
Also,
could have
ask
made it
people out of
much
the
more
station.
embarrassing for you.
I'm sure you could. You could manage to make everything more embarrassing. So,
That's
all right.
true.
Thank you for the question, Bryant, whoever that is.
Loser.
Third question. Third question. Should I invest in the Jersey Mike's Patreon level? And this comes from Graham. Well, considering we have a Jersey Mike's elite member with us today, Bryant, should he?
Well, you know, the really cool thing that you get to do is they actually take you to Jersey. Oh, wait. No, you guys didn't do that because you couldn't wait one day for me to listen to the podcast because I was hiking Old Rag on Jack's suggestion.
Okay.
How was that, by the
However-
way? I want to. You're telling that story.
We'll get there. No, but really, Chris will actually ride Nighthawk with you. Wait, no, that didn't happen either.
Well, I offered multiple times, and Bryant said he didn't want to wait in the line. I said I would wait through the line and ride it with him. Somebody turned it down.
Fair.
Yep.
Other than that, though, I mean, there's some false promises. Other than that, I mean, you get access to the two greatest podcasters in the world. So what's not to love there? And honestly, you know, I love you guys. It's easy to support you, and more people should do so. So you won't regret it. Yeah, of course it's worth it.
I think I had a couple things to say on this. First, the Jersey Mike's thing, we were near one. That's why me and Jack decided to go ahead and go, and we didn't have time to go with you.
I
Next
just need to
time
point
we're
the fact out
together-
that we went out of our way to go to that Jersey Mike's.
It was like 15 minutes.
Yeah, but we still went south when we needed to go north.
It was the closest we were going to be to it.
This is true.
Okay,
Also,
next time we're
McDonald's
with you,
just
Brian, we
didn't
will go.
sound good.
That too. Now,
I literally have one 5 minutes from my house, so when you come to New England, there we go.
perfect. There we
Perfect.
go. So you're
There's
getting
one
your
5
Jersey
minutes
Mike's with
from-
us.
Chris, just throwing this out there. There's one like 5 minutes from my dorm room too.
Okay, that works too. The Nighthawk thing, I already said. But let's see if I can make some money out of this. Next time I go to Carowinds, for every single Jersey Mike's Elite member we have, I will ride Nighthawk one time. There's the offer.
Okay.
Since I didn't do it with Bryant, there you go. This is the only way to get me to ride Nighthawk is by giving me cash. There you have it.
And by mean, he means us for something we'll tell you about in 2 years.
That too. All right. Next question. If you could pick the next park to get nano coasters, what park? If you could pick only one ride from that park, what ride? That is from Graham.
Dollywood. Wild Eagle. Thank you.
Okay, well that was quick. I have to think. Because Dollywood is a pretty easy answer. It's definitely one I would like to see. I'd also like to throw out Liseberg because I want a Helix one. So that would be my pick for that.
Cannibal. Lagoon.
That's another good one. Hansa Park and Carnan would be pretty cool. And like most of the big US parks already have them. So it's tough to say. But yeah, I would probably say Dollywood as well. Rod would be hard to do. So I would say maybe Thunderhead.
I think Thunderhead and Eagles nano coasters would look awesome, mainly because when you look at it, they are built on the flattest ground in the park, even they're really not on flat ground at all.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Rod, you have a massive mountain. Tornado goes through a mountain.
I mean, Dragonflyer's on flat, but who wants that nano?
Just give us a Mystery Mine one, but just don't make the ride, just make the building. That would be fine.
I'd take that.
Me too.
Bryant, do you have any answer? I know you're big into nano coasters.
Yeah, no, pass.
I definitely
I have
want to
zero
see
nano
more
coasters. Probably will never buy one. I have no skill in that aspect. So
Hey, he has one coaster shirt now, though. Turning him
That's
into a nerd.
wearing it to work on Friday. Oh boy.
There you go.
Are any of us wearing a coaster shirt tonight?
I have Thunderbird on
Oh, you're the odd man
because it's
out.
comfy.
I'm wearing an NASA shirt tonight because
I'm wearing a Yukon Striker. Oh, sorry, that's the college.
No, okay, tangenting, and I'm hijacking that question to give another answer. More parks need coaster cutouts.
Yeah, definitely.
More coasters need coaster cutouts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure we'll see more of those in the future. Okay. Next, from Grant. Favorite spiel from a ride-op. Does anybody actually have a specific one?
I do have one. Are you going to hate me if I do it?
Do it. Oh, gosh, probably.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you're on the longest wooden roller coaster in the world. She'll take you up slow, drop you down fast. It's low to the ground. It's really a blast. You're on the Beast, the best since 1979, taking you up, down, and all through the backwoods of Rivertown. Bye-bye.
Okay.
That's
Well,
impressive. I'm not gonna lie, that was without any stuttering. Nailed it.
Mm-hmm. Bryant, anything?
There was this one time where I forgot the roller coaster I was on, but they said all clear means you're out of here, and I was like, that is amazing.
What?
I got nothing.
I've never heard that.
Megan in the background.
I have never heard that.
I get to it, like I'm still in very much a rookie enthusiast where most of my new credits are like I have most of my rides are new credits now. I'm too amped to even pay attention to what's going on with the spiel.
Yes,
so.
I understand that. I understand that.
Yeah.
I have 3 shout-outs for this. Okay, first, any launch coaster where they're like, do y'all want a warning and then send it, or count down 3, 2, and then send it early. Those are always fun.
Yeah, the 5, 4, 3. Bah.
Yeah. Raptor Crew at Cedar Point is always good. Theirs are always solid, and they seem to have different ones every single time. And third, and I think Jack will agree with me that this is the best one.
If you don't shut it out, we have to shut it out.
It's the one that Joe did on the show. That's got to be my favorite one.
Joe's is amazing because it was like 2 minutes long, and he just did it on the show.
He did not stop.
And he didn't stop, and I muted myself. I was cracking up when we recorded that, so I was definitely gonna shout his out.
He did like the return, like leave. He did like every line possible.
He did basically everything he has to do from when the train parks in the station to when it leaves
and comes back.
Yeah, and yeah, so he definitely gets a shout out for that. The Beast ones have always just been one of my favorites because I have a huge nostalgia thing for that ride. And their ride ops are just always funny. So
Joe's is the best though.
Joe's is, it's Joe, and we love you, Joe.
Thank you, Joe. Okay.
I do appreciate when they say like the wrong roller coaster sometimes.
That too. That's
always
pretty good.
That's
funny.
funny. Or it's like have a great day at King's Dominion and you'll be at King's Island. I've had that happen more times than I care to count.
Or that time, I think it was on Orion when El Toro Orion was pulling back into the station. They said, "How did you like that block zone, riders?" Specifically for him. That's a special shout out for him. All right. We only have 4 more. Once again, you guys filled in the questions this week. Thank you very much. Favorite states and favorite restaurants from said states. This is from new Patreon member Mikhail. Jack, I know you have answers.
So it's ironic because we were definitely texting about this, at least my opinion, on favorite state. And I don't think it's going to come as a surprise to a lot of people. It's California. Not for the people or the culture or the politics out there. It's California and it's freaking beautiful. Lake Tahoe is my favorite place on earth. Yosemite is my top bucket list. The Bay Area is beautiful. The drive out to Santa Cruz is amazing. I just love Cali. The vibe out there is awesome. Just it's pretty everywhere you look, unless you're in downtown LA in the morning and it's smoggy. But still, even then, that's got like a really like Blade Runner vibe. So California is definitely my favorite state. The hard part is picking a favorite restaurant because the obvious answer is In-N-Out. But you can get that in other states. So I'm going to go dig up my answer because I totally forgot to prepare it. But I'm going to go find my answer while y'all answer this.
Any state that has it, an In-N-Out. That's mine.
Oh my god. Anyway,
Hey, we don't want to bring up Burgergate.
it's not Burger Gate. It's a good fast food burger. It's just not the greatest thing ever. That's my only point. I'm not going to wait a half hour for it.
Then don't. Wait
I
15
don't.
minutes.
No, I will. I've had it once. I'm good. Anyway, favorites. See, I don't have a. All right, favorite state for me, Colorado/Utah. They're both just gorgeous, but like kind of like Jack's point. I don't know. I don't go there for food. I go there for the scenery. So like probably my favorite state, great food combo is Maine. Maine is gorgeous, and hello lobsters. Lobsters everywhere. Lobster rolls, lobster grilled cheeses. They got everything. And get that mayo crap out of there. No. You gotta have it warm. You gotta have it with a boatload of butter. So good. Get to Maine. Go to Funtown. That's about all you can do there besides Acadia. But no.
I want to go for the seafood in New England when we do get up there. I'd love to try some at least. And for favorite state for me, I mean, I love Florida because not just because it's my home state, but you know, there is a lot of good qualities down here. Obviously, you have the hot summers, but you don't have to deal with winter as much. You've got all the parks. You've got beaches if you're into that. But I'd say outside of Florida, I'd also go Utah as one of them because it's not difficult to drive through mountains there. Every road is more flat, and you're more surrounded by the mountains up on the sides. They also have In-N-Out. And then, yeah, that's about it for Utah. I really did enjoy my time in Utah. And if you're into looking at Mormon churches, there's a lot of those.
That is also true. Okay, I found it because I was trying to think of the name of the restaurant we ate at while we were at Magic Mountain. Because I've told this on the podcast before, but especially when we do bigger trips to parks, we will skip out around 3-ish, go eat dinner, and then come back at like 8. And so one night while we were at Magic Mountain, we went to a place down the road that was recommended called Wood Ranch Barbecue and Grill, which was really good. But I'm gonna jump back because now Bryant said like you mentioned best state like for food, and there is a king in my opinion for that. Would anyone like to guess?
No.
Tennessee. I don't know.
No.
Missouri?
Yes. Barbecue heaven has entered the chat.
Now, keep in mind that Jack eats about 2 things total, and barbecue is one of them. So there's not a whole lot that can compete.
No, but Missouri's got the best barbecue. Period. Sorry, Texas. Sorry, Mike.
This is episode 2 of the Meatcast.
This is that we do need. I need to
You
talk
guys
to
need
him
to do
about
that
when we're
again.
doing that. Yeah, because oh my god, that was so much fun. We literally all barbecued and then sat around and talked about barbecue. It was the best thing ever. So okay, I'm gonna throw one more out and then I'll stop. I love Michigan. I do really love Michigan.
And special shout out to Connecticut, best pizza in the country. I will die on that hill. New Haven, get there.
Okay. Interesting.
I think
All
we'll
right.
probably have to put that theory to the test.
Next year.
Mostly for
Yeah.
Chris, because you don't even like pizza, so.
We'll talk
what's
about
this
that.
wheel, Jack? Come on.
Well, I'm gonna stand there and watch. Y'all will eat the pizza.
We'll have to put that to the test like you'll eat it. Okay.
Okay, continuing with this though, least favorite state. Can we just all three say it at the exact same time?
This is from Grant. I don't know.
1, 2, 3.
New Jersey.
New Jersey.
I don't.
Okay.
I didn't
Chris-
mind New Jersey.
I don't mind New Jersey either.
See,
It's
there's not
Jersey.
a bad state
Hold
I've been
on.
to.
So I don't have a least favorite state. I have a least favorite area. Western Connecticut, New York City, Newark, New Jersey can just get off the map right now. The most miserable place to drive in the world. It's awful.
Yes.
It's terrible.
It's yeah.
There's
Why do you put your gas stations in the middle of the frickin' road? First of all, there's that complaint. And then second, what is this getting from Jersey to Long Island crap? It takes me longer to do that than it does to get to Atlanta.
and you have to pay like $50 in tolls.
Mm-hmm.
There's bridges everywhere. There's exits everywhere. There's like 5 different ways you can go. You don't know which lane you have to be in. We were going to Paris through Newark Airport, and we had like 3 hours of leeway, and we took about 5 different wrong turns, and we didn't miss our flight, but it was getting close. All due to New York. Screw
Okay.
New York. PG. I'll keep it PG.
I'll give you definitely a point towards the tolls because New Jersey and a bit of Pennsylvania tolls this last trip
The
were
Pennsylvania Turnpike can go die in a hole.
they were terrible. But I don't know. I don't think I've really had a state that I haven't like. I don't think I've had a state where I've disliked being in it for the whole time.
I mean, I
know.
don't dislike being in Jersey. It's just like there's got to be a bottom man on the totem pole, and it's definitely Jersey.
I mean, okay, if there has to be a bottom, then I'll just go like Arkansas. Because Arkansas, driving through Arkansas, it's just like looking at the same stuff the whole time, and it feels like you've been there for way longer than you actually have. It is an eternal drive, at least from what I remember. Like, I've driven through it probably 3 or 4 times now, and it's like a 5-hour drive to get to Branson. It feels like 8. It is so boring. So that would probably be mine.
Pennsylvania, outside of Pittsburgh and their amusement parks, ain't great either.
I love the Turnpike, though. The tolls are awful, but the
How
Turnpike...
did you switch up so fast? You were just saying the
No.
Pennsylvania Turnpike can go die in a hole, and then you said, I love the
Talking
Turnpike.
specifically about... I should go back and say specifically with the tolls. The drive there is actually freaking awesome.
There's tolls in
at
Pennsylvania?
sunset.
Where? I don't do
The
Jersey
Turnpike.
there is.
The
They were
entire
like $20
Turnpike
each.
is
Oh, like, yeah,
toll
the I-95 area. Okay, I'm thinking
Mhm.
the 81 and...
And I love that drive. It's super pretty. I've driven the entire thing, but the tolls are awful.
Driving back from Williamsburg on my ways, it said like tolls like $58.75. I'm like, what? What?
Yeah, I've never seen tolls be $20 until that area.
We took
So.
a different way to Cedar Point to try to avoid tolls this past trip, and we still failed.
Maybe Ohio. Okay.
Oh,
So, yeah. Grant,
I
thank
know.
you for piggybacking that. What was? Go ahead, Bryant.
I was finishing Jack's OHIO. You didn't get it,
Oh,
apparently.
gotcha. Yeah, I don't really care about Ohio. Sorry. Okay.
I mean, it's Ohio. there are two redeeming qualities. Their names are Kings Island and Cedar Point.
That's right.
Oh, and Stricker's Grove on like 3 days of the year.
Yeah. Okay, last two questions from Allison. Coaster or park related dream you've recently had? I have told both of the people here right now that dream before. It was literally near Dollywood. And that dream was that me and Jack were in China riding wood coaster with
Oh, yeah.
PTC trains, and then it broke, so we had to ride it with Millennium Flyers, and I was upset.
Yeah,
That was my most recent coaster dream.
I remember you waking up and telling me about this. I was like, that's a great way to start the morning.
Yeah.
So I don't dream that often. I get past that like stage where you can dream and just go stupid deep into my sleep. So I rarely get roller coaster dreams, but I've definitely had like dreams of me riding a coaster for the first time. I know I don't have any details, but I know there's at least been like one dream where it's like been you and I off riding like Fury or Helix for the first time or something. The vivid roller coaster dream I remember is from when I was like 6. No clue what Millennium Force was. No clue what roller coasters are. Like what roller coasters what or what layouts do this or that. And looking back on it, I can vividly remember like at 6 years old having a dream where I rode Millennium Force. So that's my definite like that happened a heck of a long time ago. It's the best coaster. Like just it's ironic now looking back on it. It's like, that's odd. Because I just think about it, I was like, because I only remember the ending. I just like turn, airtime hill, turn, straight track, break, or bank, break. And that's all I remember. But just looking back on it, I'm like, that's Millennium Force.
Weird.
So there's mine, yeah.
It appears we have another special guest. Megan, welcome to the show. What's going on?
Friends.
Hi, Megan.
Hi, Jack.
So I'm
Aren't you
terrible
so
at
happy to
remembering
see him?
dreams. But I met this girl a few years ago that I'm going to be marrying literally 2 months today. And she has a couple dreams that she would like to share.
All right. First off, I just want to remind everyone we wouldn't be here if I hadn't made him ride Wicked Cyclone a couple years ago. So you're welcome
True
again
story.
for that.
True story.
So I've hit this point now where when I get super anxious, I have these weird fever dreams, and they're all. It's not even about roller coasters. It's about the enthusiasts. Hollywood Nights. Friday night was spent it with TDR, was a little rough. Saturday, even rougher. And while I was trying to nap, I was having vicious fever dreams that all of TDR was making me Marathon Legend with them because they couldn't find Bryant. And then 2 weeks ago, right before we almost died on Old Rag, I had a fever dream because I was like anxious about Old Rag and a bunch of other things that I didn't show up to Dollywood like dressed up with my nails done, and Jack took personal offense and would not let me get into the park because he was worried Dolly was going to see me and be disappointed. So it's not coasters, but it's close enough.
Haven't had dreams about you guys yet.
The most like ironic and best part about all of that is, as we'll get to in just a minute, they hiked Old Rag because I said they should.
Yeah, thank you for that. I almost died.
You're the worst.
And then she's not wrong about like the fact that I could have just refused to let her into Dollywood because guess who had her ticket?
And I was like, all right, so I was also, by the way, extra prepared for Dollywood. I am now a student of the Gabby Gomez school of park prep. So I cute in dresses, ready to go and have a great time. I was ready weeks in advance for this trip. So to have a fever dream about that was the most absurd thing because I woke up and we were in Shenandoah. I opened my suitcase and everything for Dollywood was right there. And out of all of the things I could have been anxious about, It was the one thing that I could like legitimately check. I'm like, no, I'll be fine. Jack won't kick me out. It's okay. I won't embarrass him.
And there you have it.
But I will say, just jumping ahead, Megan's outfit at Dollywood was perfect.
Oh yeah, it was.
On point.
Oh yeah, it was. Man, I found that fabric for the dress, and I was like, that one, Dollywood.
Dolly was
So
not disappointed.
Dolly was not.
Dolly wasn't even there, unfortunately.
You never know. She could have been.
I just gotta say, she hasn't been around much this summer, but she was there like 3 or 4 days before we were.
It's because she knew I had been there. She was like, can't miss out on anybody else now. Gotta hop on over.
All right. There we go.
Megan, you're the best.
I'm happy for my
Thank you.
Okay, last question tonight, which is one we put off from last week, and you're finally going to get your answer, Mikhail. How is Lightning Rod running nowadays? That's a great question. We'll get back to that once we start talking about Dollywood.
Okay. Trip report, people. So, we will make Cedar Point quick so that we can get into the good stuff.
I mean, we're
Right.
going to say we're going to make it quicker, but then we do have a little bit we have to cover. Just a tad bit. We did a tad bit at Cedar Point.
Just a little bit. Okay, fine. First day, we'll make it fast. One ride on Steel Vengeance at night, one ride on Top Thrill Dragster. Jack was like, Steel Vengeance is good, better than I remembered, but not as good, right?
Also got a ton of great pictures of Top Thrill Dragster. We got to finally meet Jaden. Jaden, it was great to meet you. And
Yes, shout out Jaden.
And yeah, it was slammed that night, so we only got on 2 things. And then I took my pretty little time getting out of the park.
Yes, he did. He took a long time to get pictures. Okay, day 2.
Y'all made it. You did go shopping. Let's not deny that.
Because
fact.
you were taking forever.
Well, all you had to do was text me.
We did.
I ignored it, just like I ignored other things that would have been great.
Oh, yeah. Okay, second day. Second day was a blessing. So the weather looked bad going in the morning, which it was. We both had fast lanes, and this was like going to be our last time left during the day. So we went to get our fast lanes, and they were expecting it to be so dead that they were like, hey, don't get them today. Use them a different day. It's not going to be busy today because of the weather. To which we said, we don't live here. We won't be back this year. So we got them anyway. They were right. It was dead. But even as crowds picked up and there was a little bit of waits, the fast lane helped later in the day. To start, we were there for early entry.
Yep. And we walked straight on to Valraven.
Which was on one
when
train.
When was the last time you ever got to just walk on to Valraven?
When was the last time you've seen it on one train?
And then we went over to Raptor, also on one train, and walked right on.
And then we rode Valraven again. Walked right on.
My dad wanted to ride it.
Yes. So, 3 rides in like the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, 30 minutes. And
Super
then
easy.
We're at Cedar Point, and it's like drizzly raining, and so I'm like, okay, we've all heard the stuff before. It's like they don't run the big 2 in inclement weather. So we're on Valraven, and I look over, I'm like, they're cycling Millennium Force. Yep. Let's go to Millennium Force. And so we get the Millennium Force, and the station is entirely empty except for like 3 people waiting for front row.
That's right. So we waited for front row. We got a front row ride, and then we did a back row ride right after. Now, your dad, who is basically a single rider, because you and me are riding together, was able to go through the exit gate, back into the queue, and ride it 4 times in the amount of time we rode it twice. So we're already up to a great start, and this is before early entry is done.
Oh, yeah. And all this Millennium Force, also on one train.
Yep.
The third longest steel coaster in the world is running one train, and my dad got 4 rides on it in under 20 minutes.
It was that dead. So, park actually opens now. We head to Maverick, and I think we did Maverick 3 times in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And then Steel Vengeance once.
And then, 5 more times?
Something like that. So, basically,
we gotta talk about the Steel Vengeance loggers being the best blessing of the day.
What you're picking up on is that the fast lane helped us and the weather. It was a combination of not huge crowds, but still having fast lane in case. and being able to skip one line instead build up. So from there, it's kind of a blur as far as the order of rides because of how
Yeah.
much we got to do. So I think let's just talk about some things. Maverick, we
I'm
did
gonna
10 times.
Yeah, I'm just gonna pull up the ride counts and I'm just gonna run through them real quick.
Right.
Okay, here was our final ride counts for this day. We spent 13 hours at Cedar Point, 9 to 10. We got 2 rides on Valraven, 2 on Raptor, 4 on Millennium Force, 10 on Maverick, 10 on Steel Vengeance, 3 on Dragster, 1 on Magnum, 1 on Gemini, 1 on Corkscrew, and 1 on Iron Dragon. That was with about 2 hours of that being taken to eat.
35 rides.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
don't believe
And
you.
my dad got more than us.
You don't have to believe us, Brian.
I still doubt it.
Yeah, it makes total sense that you'd lie about this.
Iron Deegan.
Iron
Iron
Deegan.
Deegan.
Iron Deegan.
That's a Deegan good time, y'all.
No.
So, okay. Steel Vengeance lockers. So if you're familiar with how they're doing it this year, you go in the queue, and then they're like, okay, you got stuff in your pockets, go over here, put it in the thing, or put them in these lockers, and then come back through the metal detector. Well, the Steel Vengeance lockers just decided to not work that day.
Mm-hmm.
And so rather than being like the crappy people they could have been, like, oh, you just got to go rent one, which I applaud them for not doing that because they totally could have and just said, you guys got to go get one of the other ones. They totally could have done that, but no. The Vengeance crew gets a massive shout out for putting up with this because I'm sure they didn't enjoy it. Every guest that came through that line got like a little plastic baggie. And you put your phone in it, and you put the wallet in it, and your car keys, anything that couldn't go on the ride. And you put it in there, and you sealed it up, and you took a little tag, and that tag had a number on it that matched the bag. And you rode with the little tag, and when you got off the ride, you gave them the tag, they gave you your bag back. It worked out great.
Right.
The problem was getting stuff in these bags took so much longer than it would have just to walk up and do the lockers that the line for the ride, it took longer to get your bags and get them to the people and then get through the metal detectors. It took longer to do that than it did to actually wait for the ride and ride it. And so because of this, it had like an hour wait. The queues got a decently full. There goes my phone, y'all.
Bingo.
So the queue's decently full, but they're sending these trains like half empty, 4 people on them at points because they can't get the people through the line quick enough up to the station. And so with the combination of this, with having a fast lane and the way the bags are working, we just put our stuffs in bags and left it there and rode the ride, got off, walked right back through the fast lane line, and went right up the station because we didn't have to wait to put our stuff in bags. We could just walk on. And so we just would walk up the station, get on the next train, and be rolling right back out on Steel Vengeance. We rode it 6 times that way in like an hour.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so if you haven't done it this year, when the normal lockers are working, it's pretty quick. And then everybody gets to the metal detectors. And then the stairs up to the station is where you actually take a decent amount of time to wait. Like when I went last month, I waited a good 20 minutes post metal detectors because that's the portion of the line that moves slower. But because the bags are taking so long, they're only sending out half full trains. The long part of the line was completely empty. We were walking right on. So that helped us out a lot. We got 10 rides on it on the day.
One in the front, so many in the back or right next. We got so many in 11 or 12, it's ridiculous. We both got one in the front. My dad, single rider Ben. He was just living it up because if he saw a front row with like a single rider, he would shoot through the gate and sit down next to him. He did it on Millie, Dragster, Maverick, Vengeance, just all of these rides. He's just shooting right up to the front row and getting a front row ride. So, single rider Ben, it's a thing now. I'm gonna have him a T-shirt made, I think.
Yeah. So talking about Steve, it was running way better this month, I thought. Now, front row was something special. It was much better in the front. And Grant, I will say it, in the front, that Outer Bank is officially a standout moment in my
Yes,
eyes. It gives Steel Vengeance a standout, and it did move Steel Vengeance up a little bit in my rankings. Jack, it moved up a lot.
I didn't get to ride it on the good side in the front row. I let Chris have it for our one front row ride.
We didn't know it was coming.
I knew consciously sitting down, I was like, okay, I know that side of the train is better in the front or in any row already, just because you can tell.
You asked me if I had preference, and I said no.
And when you said no, I was like, okay, you can have the good one because, but you ride that ride, and we rode it the night before, and I think the night before our ride on it was decent. Like, it was good. It was definitely shot up my rankings a lot, but I still was like, it's a greatest hits ride. And quite frankly, I'll take the One Hit Wonder over the Greatest Hits Queen album. Throwing that back at you, Bryant.
Oh, come on. Get the hell out of here.
So, it was like, it's good. And then we rode it again. And then after riding it 10 times, it's like, okay, yeah, maybe this ride's something special. Because, quite frankly, there are very few rides I've gotten off of, like, physically exhausted. And after 6 rides on Vengeance, I was physically exhausted.
Yeah, it was tiring, but it was fun. So Vengeance was fantastic.
Yes. Also we can rant about Maverick real quick because
10 rides on Maverick. Yeah, it's fantastic no matter what row you're in, but the back is definitely the best. We got 2 night rides on it, and that launch in the dark is incredible.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Especially in the front, because you're going down that tunnel, it's pitch black, and you've just got the little green proxies in front of you, but it's so dark you can't even see where the track starts banking, and so you're in the front, and then all of a sudden your whole body just goes wham as you fly out of that tunnel, and it's just
It's very good.
And then we did the same thing with Dragster right after it reopened. We just got like 3 rides on it real quick.
Yep.
Come to find out, we account for like
1%
more than
exactly.
1% exactly of the rides Dragster gave that day, because it went down not long after it opened. So
Dragster's great. I still stand by that it and Ka are not too far off, but Dragster's still better.
No.
That's my opinion.
Yeah, so my Cedar Point rankings definitely have been shaken up a bit. My top 10 has definitely been shaken up a bit. But we're not going to tell you about that yet. We're going to make you wait till the end of the year.
He says that, but then he'll go on Thrilling Moment and post his top 25 pretty regularly.
Well, yeah, but that's not the Twisted Traveler podcast. So go follow me there if you want to find out early.
Quick plug. So yeah.
All I'll say is Chris probably has the hottest top 10 take now. Yes.
Yeah. I think he. Yeah, I think he's.
I'm giving you that Drunk Riders award. I'm having you steal it from Jack.
Look, I don't deserve it, and neither does Jack. There's a certain coaster cuzzy that does.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Y'all see Flying Turns as his number 19 favorite
baby.
coaster today?
Let's go.
I can't.
We got to get him back for trivia.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we do.
So, yeah. Cedar Point was fun. We rode 35 things. Thumbs up.
Yes. We also bought merch.
We did buy some merch. That's right. Okay, Kings Island. We rode Onion. We rode Mystic. We rode Diamondback. We rode Banshee. He rode in Vertigo. Orion's still great. Mystic is still the best GCI. Diamondback is about what I expect every time. Banshee is fantastic, and Jack ruins rides. And yeah, so that's it from Kings Island. Then we went and
Vertigo's better than Banshee.
He doesn't have an opinion. Then we went and met with Bryant at Local Goat and Pigeon Forge and hung out. And then the next day it was time for Dollywood.
Oh, we're not just going to skip over Local Goat here.
Yeah, we can't just skip Local Goat.
Okay.
No.
What do you have to say about Local Goat?
Beep, beep, beep.
Yeah. Well, first off, this was my first time to Pigeon Forge, and we drove by to our hotel, and I saw the parking lot of Local Goat. I'm like, holy crap. At like 3 p.m., slammed. So Jack gives me the idea of, you should make a reservation. I'm like, yeah, I should make a reservation. I called Saturday afternoon for a Monday night reservation. Not exactly, the peak dinner night of the week. On Saturday, the earliest I could get for a Monday night was 8:45.
Yep.
Which is like past my bedtime. But and I'm like,
Yeah.
holy crap, this place is popular.
And so the other thing, so my friend Mazden, who wanted to meet Chris and then also wanted to meet Meg and Bryant, I was like, yo, we're going to Local Goat. And she's like, did you get a reservation? I was like, yes, we got a reservation. It's like, good, you know what you're doing. I was like, I live around here. I know if I want to go there, I need a reservation. It is easily one of the most popular restaurants in the Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge, Sevierville area. Rightfully so once you've had the food.
My burger was quite delicious. I'm impressed that I actually didn't need to use a fork and knife. That's how big this thing was.
They are massive.
Barely fit it in my mouth. And the fries were good. The beer was good.
Our waiter was
hilarious. Could not tell when he
like
was
Blue
being
Moon?
serious.
It's Blue Moon.
He was the most honest bartender ever. Like, Megan asked for this drink, and he's like, it's terrible. And we're like, okay, we're not getting that one. It was a good time. Met Mazden.
Yes,
Mazden's lovely. Yeah, couldn't complain.
Yeah, Local Goat. I love Local Goat. I want to go back. It's one of those. I love it when. Okay, so just throwing this out there. If you're ever coming to Pigeon Forge and you're gonna go eat at Local Goat, just put one extra person in your party and let me know. Because it's just far enough away where I can't just drive up there and be justified to go eat there. But if I have a friend that's gonna go, I can justify driving up there to eat.
And that was also the first night I got to take a ride in Ramon. And Jack, of course, the literal 0.9 mile drive to our hotel, had to show off his 0 to 60 time, which was exciting. Probably illegal, but that's okay. And
we did nothing illegal that night.
No.
Nothing at all. I feel like there's something else about Local Goat I'm forgetting. But I can't think of it.
I can't think of it either.
No. Yeah, okay.
I guess I realized this was, amidst the chaos of Hollywood Nights and Keys to the Kingdom, this was like the first time I got to hang out with the two of you together, mostly. And what I found out in that conversation was that I asked Mazden, how'd you become friends with Jack? And this is the answer we pretty much get from everybody is, I don't know. Confirmed from Mazden, confirmed from Taylor and Sarah, basically confirmed from Chris. You just enter into our lives, and we really don't know how we're friends with you.
Yeah, it is kind of one of those odd things. So Mazden and I truly do not know how we became friends, because we had classes together, but neither of us can put our finger on wait, when did we start actually becoming friends? So neither of us can put our finger on that, which is hilarious, because now I travel with them almost as much as I travel with my own family.
I think you just put a spell on people and we just don't know.
The Sarah and Taylor thing, I want to get them on to tell that story, because we actually do know how we became friends. And it's like they don't know how it worked out. I don't know how it worked out, but we know kind of how it worked out, if that makes any sense whatsoever.
Not a lot makes sense about you, Jack, but that's why we love you. So,
and then let's see, Chris and I mean, we met at Carowinds, and I think we've both admitted it's like that night we were like, I'm either never going to talk to that person again, or we're going to keep in touch for a long time. And then, also a fun story. It took me a month to remember his name.
Nice.
Because I'm awful with names. So, Brian, hope you're doing well.
You too, John. You too.
I didn't say it on the podcast.
And then, you, I just kind of know because, you were this person I followed on Twitter for a long time.
Yeah, when I thought you were 40 for about a year.
Yes, almost everyone did. And then you're like, yo, can I come on this podcast thing?
I mean, yes. I said, if you ever need a guest, I'd be more than willing.
Yes, that's how you phrased it. And we're like, we're young and desperate. Yes.
And look what has become in the last 7 months.
I think, did you come on the episode right after we had Bybee on?
Not right after. It's like 3 or 4. It was the last episode of 2020.
Yeah, you were the last guest episode of the season, and you were also the last episode of 2020.
That's right.
Anyway, okay, there's micro tangent. Do you want to talk about Shenandoah before we go Dollywood?
Sure.
Crazy?
So yes, this is a major trip that we did about a week and a half. We drove down from Connecticut. Our first stop was Shenandoah. We did some lovely hikes, and then we were always going to do Old Rag, which Jack talked about a few weeks ago. And Jack made it seem like, if you have a day to kill, just go hike Old Rag. You'll have a lot of fun. He did mention the length. So it's 9.4 miles, elevation gain of about 2,300 feet. It's no joke. What Jack failed to mention is he apparently did this hike in optimal weather conditions. What was it? 70s, low humidity. You had a breeze on the top.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we did it, and we started at 7 a.m., which is optimal time to start. But it was like 78 already, 92% humidity. We hike up the 3 miles in the woods, all uphill. Then we get to the rock scramble. And you hear rock scramble, and you might think, oh, you're just hopping over some rocks. Maybe you gotta, climb up a little bit or something. No, you literally have to drop into this, 9-foot crevice. That if...
Straight off the bat, too. It's like the first thing you have to do.
And there's very faint blue arrows painted on the rocks telling you where to go. We took a wrong turn. And literally, we're crawling underneath this rock, only to come out with a giant cliff in front of us. That another foot, we probably would have died. If you don't have somewhat of upper arm strength, you might be screwed, because you literally have to push yourself up about 3-4 foot rocks for a good mile. You gotta have. If you don't have hiking boots, you might be screwed. If you don't have a lot of water, you might be screwed, because after that crevice, you can't go back. You're stuck there. This is the first time in my life I'm actually developing survival skills of, oh my god, if we run out of water, what is going to happen? And the humidity was still 70%. It was 85, 86. There was no breeze whatsoever that day. I have never sweated more in my life. I'll say it on the podcast, whatever. I drank 5 bottles of water. I didn't pee once. That's how much I was sweating. It's one of those things that you absolutely hate yourself while doing it, and you regret going up. But when you do it, you're so happy you did it, because the view was worth it. And then you get back down, and it's like, holy crap, I just climbed up a mountain.
You can also say, geez, people have climbed mountains. But you can say, I climbed Old Rag.
And that's I've looked online. It's it is one of the toughest hikes on the East Coast. Hikes, not mountain climbing, but legitimate hikes.
And once you get to the top, some of that it's rock scrambles might be an understatement. Some of it is slightly under-glorified rock climbing.
Oh yeah,
at points.
Absolutely, yeah.
My favorite thing we saw is right after we got down the mountain, someone was trying to sneak their dog on the trail, and they're so first off, don't take your dog on this trail. 1, it's illegal and you'll get fined, and 2, your dog will die, because you get up to the rock scrambles and you need 4 hands at points to pull yourself. You can't be carrying a dog or pushing a 150-pound dog up this rock scramble. So no, don't.
150 pounds. What type of dog do you have?
It was a very overweight golden retriever. Very overweight golden retriever. And the guy's like, "Do you think you could do it?" I was like, not at all. 1, it's illegal, and the rangers are standing right there hearing us have this conversation. 2,
But yeah, anyway, after Shenandoah, we drove the entire Blue Ridge Parkway, did some hiking Great Smoky Mountains. We did Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge, Allison's Book, and then we met you guys at Dollywood.
Way to plug. I'm proud.
That's right.
All right.
Allison's the
we
best.
saw them well. So Dollywood, we got to y'all's hotel, and we all rode together for parking reasons. And we got there, and it was like, okay, we're in cred running mode. Let's frickin' do this. So immediately got in the park. It's like, okay, we're going left. We're going straight to Dragonflyer. I know Rod is sitting over there, and it looks pretty and all, but we're going to Dragonflyer. It will get a line. Dragonflyer, we were the first people on it for the day.
First train of the day. Yep.
First train of the day. What'd you think? I'm gonna try to not ramble that much. I'm gonna let you do.
Yeah,
They know our thoughts on these rides.
Yeah.
just
This
let
was my
Brian go.
first Vacoma hang and bang, and I don't know what you guys were talking about. These are so smooth. I couldn't believe it.
So
No,
like the wheels on a shopping cart meme.
Yes.
This is the good wheel.
Yeah. Like legitimately one of the smoothest rides that I've been on. I'm just gonna shout you guys out for the whole trip. You let Megan and I on the back or the front. You gave us those seats like the whole trip. So actually, thank you so much, guys, for that.
It's all good. We've done them before.
We
You did
didn't
the good
always
Sure.
give you the back or the front. No, we did, because there are certain rides where you're like, no, you want to sit here.
Good
Trust
point. You
us.
always gave us the best seat. You made sure of that, which thank you so much.
Of course.
So you
So,
put us in
yeah.
the back in Dragonflyer, and
Yep.
that drop. Oh, okay. I was not expecting that.
It punches a
Oh,
little
yeah.
back there.
Yeah. Although I mean, it's a fun ride. It's not going to blow your brains out, but
Yeah.
it was a very enjoyable ride.
Mhm.
It was a great first ride to kick off Dollywood.
Yeah,
And
it's
then we
solid.
went from a very solid coaster straight to Mystery Mine.
Okay, hold on. So I was semi dreading Mystery Mine because one,
As we all were.
I don't really love Gerstlauer too much, and two, I've heard some horror stories about it. I liked it. It wasn't that bad. The theming was really good. Not a lot of headbanging. I didn't feel.
Mhm.
I didn't feel that trim that much on that weird ass. There's a check mark.
I gotta chime in.
That outdoor
I
section.
gotta chime in here and say he's telling the truth. I've ridden Mystery Mine more than both of them, and it's easily one of the best rides I've ever had on it in terms of my head didn't hurt when I got off of it. Still, Chris, now you gotta talk about the first outdoor section because you you rode the old version.
I mean, didn't make much of a difference. Obviously, it doesn't give you killer airtime, but it doesn't hurt as bad anymore because that horseshoe turn was the part that was the main issue. But yeah, it was definitely smoother than I've ever experienced, and I definitely liked it more. But it's still not insane.
I would go
Theming
on
is
it with
great.
no lines. I wouldn't wait for it like more
Mhm.
than 20 minutes, but
Yeah, it's
I'd go
about
on every trip.
usually my rule of thumb with that ride and the one we're going to talk about next is 15 minutes or under, and I'll ride it. If it's over that, I walk right past it.
Mhm.
So, next coaster we rode, Fire Chaser.
my 150th credit. Can't complain. A pretty good one for it.
It's such a unique ride.
I feel like this is what Seven Dwarfs Mine Train should have been. Like, just pure, like, it's super long, it's fun. Like, the launches are actually somewhat a little bit powerful. It's just a fun ride. But, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't really know what else to say. I mean, it's...
And
Peak
it was,
family coaster.
Yeah.
yes. And again, from someone who goes to Dollywood all the time, it was running really good. I don't ever ride that ride twice in a day, and we rode it twice
did.
on that
Yeah.
day.
Mhm.
Like, that's how good it was running and how much fun we were having on it. So Fire Chaser, it's still, in my opinion, I think we've debated this before between this and Cobra's Curse. I still like Fire Chaser more. I used to have a hate for that ride because I waited 2.5 hours the first time I rode it. And it's like we waited 2.5 hours and you get Fire Chaser. But as I've gotten older and see what it is, it's like, okay, that's actually a really fun roller coaster.
Yeah, it's good. I still like Cobra's Curse more, but it is definitely in that tier of the best family coasters. Okay. So Eagle was closed. So from there we went to Tennessee Tornado, which was on 2 trains. It wasn't running as good as it usually does, but it was solid.
Didn't punch like it normally does.
That was the one ride I kind of wish I got a second ride on. but the line kind of got longer as the day went on. I mean, for an arrow, obviously, it's probably one of the smoothest arrows out there, for sure. It was fun. Like I said, I need another ride on it, but I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I did like
I
the
don't
drop
like-
into the tunnel. That was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to like defend the ride, but I didn't pay attention to what train we were on. If we were on the wrong, that ride definitely like there's a train bias. One of them is much more broken in than the other one, and then we also rode it pretty early on in the day for a tornado ride, and it takes its time to warm up usually.
Yeah.
Again, don't want to be like I'm defending the ride, but I can also again say like not its best when we
Mhm.
rode it.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Okay.
And then I believe we went to Blazing Fury, and we after that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we went to Blazing
And we
Fury.
kind of already talked about that. And
Chris debated why he was friends with me. He does
I
that
do
all the
that
time,
often.
but yeah,
it made the ride for me honestly enjoyable.
it is a really.
And it kind of impressed me. It had a little more roller coaster than I thought it did. And
Hey,
you put us in the
again,
front. You put us in the
Yes.
front. And
So the secret with Blazing Fury is front row. I'm not gonna. If you don't know, I'm not gonna tell you why. But if you get the chance to ride that for the first time and you don't know anything about it, front row, you can tell me why that's an amazing choice later.
Hmm.
And you said RMC did some work, and I could definitely tell because it was super
Mhm.
smooth.
I mean,
Um,
isn't that hard to make what that ride does smooth? But
no, not
No,
at all. But it used to be when it was wood track. It was the last couple elements were not fun.
Jack, can you say one more line for me?
no.
What's a good one?
Well, looks like you can't think of it. Anyway,
I really am drawing a blank.
That's fine. Keep drawing a blank.
Oh, hey ma, hey pa. That's actually not in the ride, but that's if you're Dollywood local, you know that reference.
Or just Jack. I
or
doubt
just
many
me, but-
Dollywood locals. Some are weirder than others.
And then where'd we go, boys?
Lightning rod.
Lightning rod.
We did lightning rod.
Okay, I'm gonna shut up and let y'all talk.
You go first.
Okay. So, probably other than Fury, my most anticipated credit in my enthusiast life. I've watched this POV close to 100 times probably, and I knew it wasn't the roided out 2016 version. Going into that, I knew it. So we rode the ride, thought about it, and then I turned to you guys and said, top 15, 11 to 15 range. I'm going to come clean to you guys. That ranking was Bryant's in a good mood at a park, and didn't want to believe how disappointed I truly was.
I understand that
Oh
feeling.
no, you
I
said
was
that. I was
crushed.
like, yeah, you said that, and I saw right through it. I was like, no, he's BSing us right now. I'm just not gonna call him.
You can tell.
I was crushed. Like the launch was fun, then it died at the top. The drop was good. Between the drop and the quad down, it didn't do anything. It just kind of meandered. Quad down was great in that first ride. Don't get me wrong. It hurt a little bit inside.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
That was ride one. That was ride
yes,
one.
that
Okay,
was
Chris,
ride
your
one.
thoughts after that ride?
Right. Ride one. So we were 11 and 12, I think.
Yeah, I was in
and
the back. Yep.
okay, it was in my top 3, and then I did that ride, and we hit the launch. The launch was still good, and then it felt like it trimmed harder at the top than it was before. You crawled over that first hill. You didn't get any even floater at all. The drop was fine, not a top 10 drop or anything. And then from there, Jack had told me between the drop and the quad down, it does not feel the same. And I was not expecting it to go as slow through the wave turns as it did. It still managed to be really fun, but it did not try to eject you through those. But I was even more disappointed with the quad down than anything else, because while it still gives ejector, it does not feel as uncontrolled anymore. It does not feel as insane as it once did. It feels like pretty standard RMC ejector now. And then I honestly
Quite
thought at the
frankly-
end of that first stride, whipping up and out of the turnaround under the brakes was the best airtime moment on the coaster.
Kind of agree there.
See? Yeah. It didn't feel the same. But then,
It doesn't feel the same.
right.
Now, this was-
coming back. No, we're gonna come back. No, we're gonna come
This
back. To
was
that. We're coming
what,
back
like
to that.
11:30ish?
Yes, this was 11:30. It was super slow, and it was early in the day, running super slow. Trains are, oh god, they were tight. You sit down on those, and I can just tell you, it's like, oh god, it's tight today. And the other thing, so talking about the quad down, because Chris and I had this discussion a lot leading up, because we'd spent like a week in Michigan, and then we'd been, to your points, we'd had this discussion a couple of times already. And what the quad down is right now, it used to be like a car crash. It was a controlled car crash that was fun. Now it's very much just, like you said, standard RMC airtime, because you don't feel like you're actually getting flung violently, and it's super smooth, and it's just not. Anyway, so that's what the quad downs felt like. And even I got off of it. I was like, yeah, if that's how it ran all of the time, that's not a top 15 coaster.
He's not lying.
So from there, we made our way over to Thunderhead, which was running 20 times better than Lightning Rod, and it still wasn't even running that great. What do you think of Thunderhead, Bryant?
I thought it was a very, very good wooden roller coaster. I was expecting maybe a little more. I think I made the rookie mistake of expecting more airtime, and then you kind of told me it's not really an airtime roller coaster. It was more. I felt it more compared to like Legend and Raven versus like a Mystic Timbers.
Yeah.
And I was expecting more Mystic Timbers that first ride. And then we rode it again later, and I had a different mindset, and I liked it a lot more. It's very, very good. Very, very good. Top 25 potential for sure.
Yeah. Thunderhead,
For
it
my
definitely
rankings.
wasn't running this year as good as it was last year, in my opinion. And yeah, it's based on the laterals and the positives. But the, like 2 or 3 airtime moments it does have, you can
Are
feel the Mystic Timbers. Like,
Yeah.
And the other thing, Brian, Chris and I both have it the other way around, but you kind of got screwed out of it, is if you ride Mystic before you ride Thunderhead, it's like, oh yeah, here's what GCI does now. And then you go back and ride this ride that kickstarted their design. Good Lord, it's been 17 years now.
Right.
That's a scary thought. It's like their design language has changed a lot, but Thunderhead, it's still running great. But as I think I told both of you, Thunderhead kicks it into gear when we get to winter. When we get to winter, that ride unleashes a whole other level of insanity.
And I could definitely, it's smooth. Like I could definitely feel the retrack. Maybe that one moment where it's still a little rough, but
you can tell where they stopped retracking, because it's like boom. But and then lo and behold, the savior of wing coasters, Wild Eagle, reopened.
I would have been so mad if it was closed all day. Oh my god. Especially when we didn't get to ride Thunderbird.
So, Bryant, what did you think of America's best traditional wing coaster?
Traditional. So I took Jack's advice, and this is something I never would ever think to do. We get to the platform. I take my shoes off and my socks, because Jack said you have to ride Wild Eagle barefoot at least once. And we got the back. Megan had flip-flops, so it was easy for her. I love wings in general. Like, I'm always higher on Gatekeeper than most people are. This is a good ride. It's a really good ride. The drop is great.
The drop catches you off guard, because you're like, it's a wing coaster. It won't have air. Air time.
I did not gray out. I'm not weak like Chris.
this is a good thing to be weak on.
Whatever.
It is.
It's fantastic. It's closer to Thunderbird than it is to Gatekeeper for me. It's not Thunderbird, but
no, it doesn't touch Thunderbird. Now, I would make an argument if Thunderbird had a lift tail, Eagle's better.
Oh yeah, I'd agree with that for sure. Yeah.
But Eagle's got the setting. It's one of the most picturesque rides there is. One of the most like just beautiful rides to be on. And it was running great. That was the first ride I'd had on it since April. And I was like, thank the Lord it's back because I've missed this. Chris, what do you think?
It was cooking. It was moving faster than it usually does, and it was still fantastic. It is got good positives, good floater in the back still. I can't help the way I am. If I gray out on Wild Eagle, I'm gonna take it. So hey, I love the ride. It's still great, and I would agree that if Thunderbird was a lift hill, it probably wouldn't be as good as Eagle, and that would drop Thunderbird like 30 spots. Thunderbird is made by that launch.
Oh no, the launch is what makes that ride so special, and quite frankly, all wings should be launches, but
maybe.
Okay. Semi-hot take. It's my number 2 at the park.
No, that's not hot.
Yeah, I can see
that's
that.
Not hot at all.
Yeah. I can see it. Okay.
You want to talk about all the other stuff before we get back to Lightning Rod?
That's what I was about
we're going to talk about. Yeah. So, cinnamon bread.
Oh, baby.
Diabetic overload.
I can see how if you have like after your 10th or 15th loaf, it can get old, maybe a little bit. Oh, it's delicious though. It's delicious. And the more that first bite is okay, but then you get down deep and you get to dip in all the sauce on the bottom. Oh, baby.
Yeah,
delicious.
It's great.
I'm hungry right now.
Yeah, the cinnamon, and I've talked about before. It's one of those things it makes me sick if I eat too much of it too quick, and so I save it for like special time. So someone's at the park, or we have an event at the park. Those are my 2 cheats for cinnamon bread. Other than that, I make myself avoid it.
My one regret, and I'm sure Megan agrees with me, is we split one. That was a mistake.
That's a lot of bread, man.
It is
if you got one each.
It's a lot of bread.
Yes.
And then the train.
I love the train. It was nice.
It's a really good way to just take a break.
Yeah, absolutely. I loved like the commentary. They had playing songs on the train. The family with the world's most sensitive ears were in front of us. That was a thing. Were. Yeah, so if you haven't been in Dollywood's train, the conductor likes to whistle a lot. And we were
obnoxiously loud.
We were in the front train, so we were right near it.
We were like 3 rows back from the tender.
Yeah, but it could have whistled for like a millisecond, and this family immediately puts their fingers in their ears, like on cue. It's like they talked about it beforehand. Like when it whistles, let's all put our fingers in our ears.
And so we're all sitting behind them, and I'm like, at one point in time, I'm like physically holding myself back from reaching up and just pulling this guy's hands out of his ears and being like, it's not that bad.
You're not gonna go deaf. But it was like the whole family and like no one else. It was so weird.
Like there were like 6 people on that row.
Yeah. So that was both I will funny say,
that's the longest I've ever heard them play the whistle up there in the upper loop.
Yeah, I was going for 20 seconds straight. But no, it's the best. I mean, I have a special place in my heart for the Walt Disney World Railroad. That one's pretty damn good too, though.
Yeah.
It's outside of a Disney park, it's the best theme park train you're gonna find. In my opinion, it is still better than the Disney railroads. But I understand the nostalgia.
You haven't been to Disney World.
I'm sorry, it's not gonna. It's the same thing with the nostalgia y'all have for those trains that I have for these.
Of course, yeah.
And this week on the episode, Jack bias towards Dollywood continues. But anyways. Other than that, I think the only non-coaster we did was Dropline.
Mm-hmm. We did Dropline. I survived the Drop Tower.
Well done.
Freaking awesome view, right?
We could have had a better view, but
we could have had a better view.
Sat, but we got a beautiful view of Thunderhead.
And if you looked off to your right, you could see the mountains.
Yeah, so. I mean, I'll always be nervous before these things, but they're fun when it happens. And we did the swings as well. We did the Screaming Swing.
Oh, yeah, we did Barnstorm.
Oh, yeah, we did. They were only running one side.
Right.
And we got the short cycle, which was sad, but...
Yeah, that was fun, too.
It was, yeah.
And then after that, we went back to Lightning Rod.
Front row. Let's talk.
Okay, so actually no, the second ride we got 3 and 4,
Hmm.
and this is when I learned that Jack likes to play games literally again. So he's in the third row, we're in the fourth row, and he turns back as we're going on the launch, shakes my hand, and we start playing rock paper scissors as we're going down the drop. Because why not? I won, by the way. Paper beat.
He did
covered rock.
win.
And then
We tried to play sticks.
He sticks two fingers out. I've never heard of this game. I don't know what the hell he's doing. By the way, I went to a bachelor party this weekend. Asked the whole party, like one person heard of it, so I'm not crazy. It must be some weird southern thing.
But hey, could any of them go through the green glass door?
Let's not sit here for 25 minutes.
We do need to talk about that. We can't not
God.
mention that.
Okay, fine. I'll put it this way. Dollywood can go through the green glass door. Carowinds can't. Think about it and see if you can figure it out in the Discord. That's what we'll say.
I spent literally the entire second ride on Fire Chaser trying to figure this thing out.
It was amazing.
I literally have like my hand on my chin, just in thought, on this roller coaster. I finally figured it out. Longer than I should have. That was a highlight of the day, though.
Yes.
The green glass door.
The green glass door.
Yeah. Twitter can.
Okay,
go
lightning
the green
rod.
glass
Sorry.
door.
So
Sorry.
sticks. I tried to play sticks with you on lightning rod.
Yep. Nope. And then you just looking at me with a sad face for like the entire quad down. I'm like, I don't know what's happening. However, that ride was better.
Mm-hmm.
It was better. Not like, oh my god, better, but better. But then we
I
went
think
on
my
it.
antics made it a little more entertaining.
It
too.
did. Oh, for sure. Then we went on it a third time. And you gave Megan and I the front. You guys were behind us. This was the ride I was hoping for. This was the ride I was hoping for. Again, maybe not roided out 2016 rod. This was everything I had hoped 2021 rod gave me. The launch was better. The drop was 100 times better. It was moving. The quad down was great. I mean, it was one of those like I'm just laughing and cackling the whole time kind of rides. Based on that ride alone, it's in my top 10 for sure. I'm gonna play it like a college semester and just get rid of the outlier, like they do for exams, and I'm just gonna take the first two rides together.
There you go.
And judge it based on that. So I mean, you guys can talk about it too, but I think clearly now it's just a ride that needs to warm up, and you got to ride it later in the day.
Also the row.
And the row.
Yeah. So after the first ride I had actually dropped Rod out of my top 10 just for a little bit, which might be a bit surprising, but it really was running that much slower and not as out of control.
And before you go on, like, how would Jack allow him? It's like, I'm not denying it. I told him after we got off, it's like, that's fully where it deserves to be.
Yeah. Second row, it was definitely a lot better. Just like Steel Vengeance, it just ran so much better up there. The elements felt a lot stronger. And it did move back up into my top 10. Where? You'll have to wait till the end of the year. But it's not top 3 anymore. It definitely doesn't feel the same. But it's still really good. Mainly in the front.
Yep.
All right,
And
Jack,
so
talk
this
for
is why
45 minutes.
Well, I'm just gonna make a. There's a reason I don't go up there and open the park often anymore because I know when Rod starts running good and it's after 2:00. So why go waste my time riding crappy Rod when I could just wait a couple hours and ride good Rod?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much all I'm gonna say. But now I do have to backtrack real quick. I think it was around the time we were getting on the train. I got a text. It's like, "Hey, are you free tonight?" It's like, "We're playing trivia. Do you want to come?" I was like, "Well, maybe." So one of my friends in town, I play trivia with all the time. I was like, "Hey, we're playing trivia tonight. You want to go?" And I turned to the rest of the group. I was like, "So if y'all want to skip out early and go play trivia, we could."
And you're asking the trivia master if he wants to play trivia. You know I'm going to say yes.
And it's play trivia at the place I've hyped up where we play trivia forever
Yeah.
because I do have a really good trivia spot. So, what did you think of trivia?
Well, can I give my final thoughts on Dollywood just real
Yes,
quick?
sorry. No, go ahead. I'm just completely cutting
Sure.
it off. Yeah, go ahead. Finish Dollywood.
I had a phenomenal time. It might be, again, Disney and even Universal are in their own categories for me. It's probably my number one park now. The theming, the staff, the smells, the sounds, the rides. You have to go there, park fan or not. It's genuinely a very special place. I'd say like the only flaw it might have, like roller coaster wise, I think it does need that like second elite roller coaster to like really like certify it as like a GOAT park. It's still a GOAT park, but
I think I made this case too. Thunderhead in the fall. You get
okay,
that ride.
potentially. I'm going back multiple times in my life for sure, even if Jack wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Anyway, somehow we ended up in Knoxville about 2 hours later, and I'm literally texting Chris because there's just all these random people that Jack knows. We're on the riverside. It's gorgeous. I'm like, what happened right now? What did we do in our life to get to this point?
I don't know.
So we went to my favorite trivia spot, which is Calhoun's on the River in downtown Knoxville, and played trivia on the dock deck patio. And we show up, and I think you knew what you were in for as soon as I took off and leaped into Shane's arms.
Yep. And like this is a group.
I was just hungry.
Yes, Chris was just hungry. And so we had some good food, played some good trivia. What were some of the good questions?
What streaming service came out in 2008?
Oh God, I hate you.
Yeah, the one question that we got wrong that we kind of all trusted Jack on. I mean, to be fair, thank you. I didn't have another guess. We said Blu-ray, which came out.
Blu-ray came out in 2006, and the year was 2008, so we were far off.
Yeah. Roku was the answer.
Roku.
Literally the only question our team got wrong the whole night.
Mm-hmm.
You can ask. Chris can tell you. I came home and I vented to my mom about that. I was like, I am so dumb.
Not really. Nobody got it except for like one team.
Yeah.
They had to have cheated. I'm convinced of it.
Well,
yeah, they cheated.
It didn't matter in the long run, did it?
Let's see. The fear of the number 13 was a question. The last one we had to. They gave a bunch of fast food. What year they opened in what city? And Jack was pretty much the MVP of this question.
Yeah. The other one was the 3 events that happened in the year, and we had to tell you the year.
Right. Heinz Ward was the Super Bowl MVP. Cars came out, I believe, right?
Cars came out, which is when they said, see, they always give a movie, and I don't need to hear the other 2 clues. I just need to hear the movie to know what year.
Yeah. Anyway, we are big time tangenting right now. And
yes,
parking was fun. And if you're trying to, if it's a full parking lot and you see other people trying to get in your spot and you just sit in your car for 10 minutes, you're the worst person on earth. I'll just say that.
Yes, yes, you are. But other than that, trivia was great. We had a blast. You got to see. They both got to see my other crazy just group.
And your high school.
And my high school. Did see STEM.
Yep.
And then my favorite thing is just you and Shane, and it's like Shane just coming over there and
somehow we became best friends that night. Yeah.
Yep.
And I said 10 words to him all night probably. But
no, Shane, he's the man. So trivia was great. We all went. Chris and I went back to my house. Y'all drove back to your hotel for our early morning the next day on the state line.
I went to Carowinds for the first time.
All right, well, that'll do it. Thank you for listening.
We might crack 2 hours tonight, boys. We're getting close.
Oh, we're getting there.
We're at 139.
Everybody's already clicked off by now. We don't even need to
stop
continue.
that. No, they didn't. They're still listening because they love us.
We'll see. But anyways,
they love you. If they were just the 2 of us, they would have been done 30 minutes ago.
Nobody loves me. It's you guys. Anyway, Carowinds. Copperhead. First time for me, first time for Chris.
That's right.
Nothing really happened in the morning, right? We just kind of went right to Copperhead.
Yeah, that's about it. Nothing happened, Jack.
Fair
Okay, we
enough.
went to Copperhead. We got
Didn't-
back to.
wait.
Oh gosh, man. Look, we have a show to finish. Nothing happened.
Did nothing happen?
Nothing
No,
happened.
nothing happened.
We went to Copperhead. We did Back to Rose. All right, Bryant, what'd you think?
Hey,
If we keep him thinking long enough, we won't have to hear him for the rest of the episode. We're
That's a
good.
good point. A very, very good ride. I don't think it was made to be elite. I think if you're looking for greatness, you're not going to get it. Just a very, very fun, smooth ride. I mean, quick points: the JoJo roll with just a lap bar is fantastic. Like your limbs are just hanging there, and your stomach is just resting on that restraint. That's the only thing holding you back. The inversions, the hang time on them are fantastic. Really good airtime moments. A lot of good fun twistiness. I wish the launches were had a little more giddy up on them, but it is what it is. I loved it. It's a good ride.
Yeah.
Very re-rideable.
For sure.
Back is great. Front though, we went back around and we did front row.
Mm-hmm.
Then you really get the full effect. Of
yeah.
the ride.
So, yeah, I agree with Bryant that it isn't made to be elite. It's just meant to be like one of the solid coasters in the park. It's not supposed to be their best one. Jojo Roll with that lab bar is absolutely ridiculous. The launch has actually had a bit more kick than I was expecting to them, but I like that shows how much I expect out of mock launches. I go in expecting the absolute bare minimum, and I end up being happy with it. So
they are a bit more forceful than Time Traveler's launches. So.
I disagree with that, but they're still okay. This is easily the most comfortable hang time I have experienced on any ride with those lap bars. There's a couple airtime hills that are fantastic. There is a couple moments where it seems to just meander a little bit and not do a whole lot, but it's still really good. It's just inside my top 30. Well, it was my 284th credit, and I enjoyed it for sure. And the theming is good too. So
very good. Yeah,
front row is better than back.
Agreed.
Also, I mean, I've talked about Copperhead a lot before, but it's also just one of the most picturesque rides there is. And those trains are some of the best looking trains on any roller coaster.
Mm-hmm. All right, and from there, it was Bryant's favorite ride in the park, Afterburn.
Yeah. I don't know how much I've said really. I generally not a fan of B&M inverts. It's just I don't know if it's age. Just getting up there, I don't really like a ton of inversions. You guys like, hey, let's do the back, and I'm like, I don't do inverts in the back. That ain't happening. And so I just ran to the front, or just looked for a row towards the front. And thankfully, there was one seat open in the front, so I did the Sparky move and just took an open seat. Afterburn exists. I actually like a lot of inverts better.
So you're on our
is
side.
better. Raptor's better. Talon's better.
Mm-hmm.
Great Bear's better even.
Yeah.
It exists. It's
Yeah,
there.
if you listen to the show often, you know whenever we do talk about inverts that Afterburn isn't me or Jack's favorite. It's solid, it's punchy, but it's very short. It is definitely a bottom tier invert for both of us still. I know I can speak for him when I say that. It's fun, it's good. But yeah, it's not as good as Great Bear, Talon, Alpengeist, Raptor, Banshee, Montu. But it's still fun.
I'd still even take a couple of the Batman clones over it. Actually, no, just one of them.
Georgia.
Yeah, George's. It's just if it punched, if that thing actually punched through the entire ride.
I mean, I feel like it does. It's just short.
I want it to punch to where like I'm actually like feeling it in my legs, and I've never had a ride on that where my legs hurt getting off, and I've had a ride on a lot of other inverts where they hurt.
I felt it in my legs this last ride.
I also am the person who didn't even gray out on Intimidator 305 this year, so These G forces are starting to affect me less and less.
Me more and more, thank God. I'll take it.
Anyway, I think after that, we got berated by the Siren of Death.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, well, we still don't know what the hell that was.
So
was
yeah,
weird.
so basically, sum that up real quick. For some reason, every speaker in the park was sirening really loudly, and it wasn't fun walking past a few of them. It stopped eventually, but it wasn't good.
My ears were ringing for a good
Yeah.
10, 15 minutes after that. If you are Carowinds local and know why or what that came from, please let me know so I can go talk to someone about that.
If that family on the Dollywood train was there, they probably would have died.
Oh, poor people.
Legitimately.
They probably would have lost circulation. They would have been pressing their fingers into their heads so hard. And then we headed to Harmony Hall for lunch.
We had lunch. It was good. It was good. Then where
Right.
we
It was good. It was good. He's like, I don't care about lunch. I want to talk about the main event, people.
All right, we rode Fury in the front row to start us off, Bryant.
Oh man, Fury. I don't buy roller coaster shirts at all. I have a Fury shirt now. It's that's a special freaking ride, man. Everything. I mean, everyone basically loves this ride. The drop's insane. It's just nonstop speed. It's nonstop fun. There's airtime. There's just everything. It's oh my god. I need to go back on it now. I said I'd reveal my top 3 later on. Fury's definitely in it. Holy crap.
Yeah. Fury had taken a bit of a fall out of my top. It had been in my top 3 for forever, and then just not getting to ride it at all last year. And I rode all of these other rides that were running amazing. So Fury just kept getting a notch down because as it faded from my memory, and then you ride it, it's like, nope, that's still one of the best roller coasters. And in my opinion, if we're gonna argue not our favorite rides, but truly best roller coaster ever built, I think Fury takes the crown. Not our favorites, not counting in what we want, but just overall, I think Fury takes the crown for that.
What do you mean? It doesn't do anything. There's no airtime. It's my least favorite Giga.
Least favorite being them in the park.
Yeah.
Oh god.
We don't give attention seekers attention around here.
No.
But yeah, Fury, I had been on it in 3 years. And I was worried that I was going to be a little bit disappointed because I had left it so high up in my rankings for so long without riding it, which can be a recipe for disaster. And it has been for some rides in the past for me. But yeah, no. If I ever move this down, I am insane. It is perfect. There's nothing it could do differently to make me like it more. The first drop is phenomenal. The first turn, whip, next whip, next whip. Hive dive, ejector, next whip. Airtime, helix, ejector, brake run. It's all perfect. That's all I'm going to say.
Jack was having so much fun, he actually needed some help on the ride. You don't remember? you had to call for some help. You were having so much fun on Fury.
Oh yeah, this is right.
Literally.
So our first ride on Fury, it was such a freaking awesome ride. I called 911 on the roller coaster.
This ain't a joke. He actually called 911.
I have the screenshots to prove it.
His phone emergency dialed while on Fury.
Yeah, so I think it's if you press the side button long enough or press it enough times in a row, it will just automatically call 911 for you. And at the same time, if you have it set up, it will notify your emergency contacts that you've called 911. So mine are my mom and my dad, obviously. My dad's standing on the exit ramp because he was on a train, I think he was 2 trains ahead of us. So he's on the exit ramp and he gets off and he's like, you need to check your phone. I'm like, why? And I pull it out and, it says, you've called 911. Are you okay? So I have to call my mom and be like, yeah, I'm fine. We were just on Fury. It was a religious experience. My phone just wanted to make sure I wasn't going to die and go to heaven. And then we're in line for Hurler. Just cutting ahead a bit. We're in line for Hurler. And the Charlotte Police Department called me and was like, sir, we just want to make sure you're okay. I was like, oh yeah, I was on a roller coaster. I'm completely fine. And she's like, okay. I'm like, she's like, are you sure? It's like, yeah, I'm completely fine.
I love how you started with "I was on a roller coaster" because their immediate thought is like, "Oh my god, what just happened to Carowinds?"
Yeah.
Hey, you got to startle them, but also, they probably got these calls. It's like, oh, it was an accident. My kid got a hold of my phone, and then they get one from me. I was on a roller coaster.
Yeah. Good job leading into that.
So,
yeah, we did Hurler.
Also,
sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No,
Hurler,
I'll save that comment. For
it's not great.
It's
the
actually
greatest
ride of all time.
It's not as bad as I thought it would be, but I was just envisioning Twisted Timbers and thinking what Twisted Timbers at Carowinds would look like.
Mm-hmm. So, ever riding this, I'm literally like bracing so I don't like flail into Chris through these awful turns.
Yeah, it was bad. It was worse than I remembered.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those turns did not feel comfortable, and it just doesn't do anything. I'd love for them to RMC it, but whatever. So
Then
yeah,
we did the
Hurler,
ride that you guys just have a thing for. You just have like a special place.
it's
Hold
fun.
on. I'm interrupting this. Coaster Bros got Cheetah Hunt at 21.
He has flying turns at 19, Jack.
I'm just Cheetah Hunt over how many freaking...
He has Seven Dwarfs Mine Train over Steel Vengeance.
That's just funny. That's just the funny one.
I look down and Twitter's open and that's what's playing and I'm like, oh my lord, this man's insane. Okay, sorry to interrupt like that.
Carolina Cyclone.
You love it.
Yeah, it's good.
We do love it.
Yeah, you wrote it twice.
We did.
I wrote
I
it
did
once.
write it twice.
It's fun. It's for like what it is. It's fun. It's not rough
But it's not
as
bad,
it could be.
right?
It's not bad. No, it's
See?
not bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's
I
a
don't
good
know
ride.
what it is about that ride, but it's just fun.
Yeah.
So I guess we can just kind of work our way around the loop here. What do you think of Carolina Gold Rusher?
Oh, we're skipping. We're going out of order. That's fine. Carolina Gold Rusher. Not the best mine train I've been on. Not the worst. It's not Adventure Express, which is awesome, but it's a hell of a lot better than what's the piece of crap at Great Adventure?
The bad one.
Awful.
Yeah.
We're not even calling it by its name.
The Trailblazer at Hershey is not a good one either. It's a fun little ride, and just don't put your hands up.
Yeah, it's got some near misses. It's fun. We like it.
And then
there was only 2 other coasters we did today.
We did Vortex. That can go to a place, and I can say words that I can't.
That's where we
say
learned
on
about
this
the bubbly.
you've already sworn once.
Twice.
Once.
Twice.
What was the second time?
Go listen back through on
Oh.
Wednesday, Brian. It was twice.
Oh.
I definitely already marked it off the bingo board. I can tell you that.
Okay. Well,
I am playing, and I'm really freaking close, y'all.
Oh, Scott Ross.
No, that doesn't count.
Vortex sucks. And the only reason it's not as bad as Green Lantern is because it's shorter. And it gets it over with quicker. Not fun for guys especially.
Yep. Yeah, it's not good.
It is crushing. That's all I'll say.
I see what you did. Yeah, it's not good. I will say that the first turn after the loop was actually kind of fun, but everything else was bad. It ain't good.
Nope.
You go up that lift hill, and it's like, this is just uncomfortable going up the lift hill. You know you're in for a bad bad bit.
So let's go to another red B&M that actually surprised the hell out of me. Intimidated.
Yeah.
It was really good, actually.
That was really good. Really good floater. Good
Much
drop.
better than I remember.
I didn't hate it.
It was one of the best
Yeah.
rides I've ever had on Intimidator.
Mhm.
The trims were barely grabbing, and it was like we hit that turnaround. I was like, dang, we're getting whipped through this thing for once.
Yeah. The trims, I mean, you could feel them, but it didn't stop in the back from you getting some fantastic floater on the way down. That was a lot better than I rememred.
Yeah.
It's fun. I still can't put it over any other B&M Hyper I've done because they're all just as good, at least.
I was trying to debate
It's good.
between Intimidator and Apollo. I
Those
think
are the two bottom ones for me, yeah.
I would say if Intimidator was at Bush, it would be better. But because Apollo's at Bush, it's just the scenery is a little better.
Understand that, yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't ranked. I need to go through and like actually rank my B&M hypers now that I've done all the US ones. Intimidator actually really surprised me. I mean, that one ride's not going to move it around in my rankings, but that was definitely one of the better rides I've had on it.
Mm-hmm.
Apollo's just going to get screwed over in those rankings because of the mood I was in when I rode it. So we'll leave that for a later. We'll do that. We'll rank our B&M hypers on a future episode.
Yeah, there's an idea.
That was it
I'll
for
put
the
it on the
roller
list.
coasters, I believe. I don't think we did any flat rides at all, right?
I think we just cred run and rode Fury a
Yeah,
lot.
and we just went back to Fury and had that amazingness.
We showed Bryant how to get infinite room on a B&M Hyper.
Yes, in a legal way. That has changed my life. Thank you very much for that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, your reaction on the drop for Fury after we showed you that is like one of my favorite moments like ever being on a roller coaster, just watching over and watching you lose your crap as we went down that drop.
Well, you had that reaction every ride after we showed you. And that's how you know it's good, when you keep having the same reaction on the drop.
Holy, I
yes,
can't
that
say
one.
it, but yep. Carowinds is fun. It's, again, I think I said on Twitter, Cedar Fair is having the year it's having. Staffing could be better, but it's an enjoyable park. Obviously, having Fury helps, but only complaints I could really have is more shade.
Mm-hmm.
A water ride would be much needed there, especially when it was very, very hot when we went.
They had the heat index thing playing throughout the park all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as someone who gets to visit Carowinds usually a couple times a year, and especially as someone who was actually dreading going over there this summer, because I was like, oh, I've heard some stuff all of it this year. I was very impressed with how the park was operating, and I definitely want to go back now, which is not I was expecting this, like, I'm going to go in, ride Fury and Copperhead, and I'll be content for the season. Definitely would want to go back now. I also just have to give that props to all of Cedar Fair. We did 3 of their biggest properties within 5 days of each other, and I really don't have a complaint out of any of them.
King's Dominion wasn't bad either.
King's Dominion wasn't bad either.
I haven't had a bad experience except for, Michigan's Adventure was whatever. It was expected. Dorney was also struggling on the operations side, but like I still had fun at every Cedar Fair visit I had this year. So
Michigan's Adventure is like a different league of Cedar Fair, but not a good league. So walking in, I was like, I knew exactly what I was getting. I walk in there expecting my crappiest day at a Six Flags park, and I always leave having had a good time.
Yeah, but it was a very fun 2 days. I can't thank you guys enough. It was definitely some of the most fun Megan and I have ever had at a park. And that wouldn't have been the same without you guys. And yeah, can't thank you enough once again.
Definitely had a blast too. It's great. One of my favorite things to do is take people to parks that I love and get to visit all the time. And it's their first time, because for me, I don't ever get to re-experience Dollywood for the first time. So taking someone who's never been is the closest I get. And so just watching y'all bob around that place just happy. It's like, okay, I can kind of re-experience everything for the first time.
I completely agree. You'll get to do that with us next year, Bryant.
That's right. Yeah. New England, Compounds, Quasi. Let's do it, baby. I can't wait to get you guys on Superman.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Americans was good enough.
That brings up that's going to wrap up part 3 of the Summer of Trip Reports, or whatever the heck we're calling this craziness. Reminder, we're taking next week off for Chris's trip to California. I will probably also get up to my own antics next week, but I don't know what they're going to be yet. Yeah, so coming back from that, we've got one more massive trip report show with Chris's California trip reports. And then we're going to ramp the guests and ranking shows and different ideas we've got back up for you as we get into the fall.
That's right. So, to
By the
wrap
way,
it up.
quick top 3 for me. I said
Oh,
I
yes.
promised it.
Go ahead. Top 3 of the
okay.
trip.
Number 3, Steel Vengeance.
Okay.
And only because it's been 3 years. That's the only fault it's had. It's just I haven't written it in a while. Number 2, Fury.
Oh,
And Voyage is still my number 1. The only reason is that Voyage, the fact that it's 3 separate amazing rides in one,
Yes.
and the wooded scenery still puts it slightly over Fury. But let me tell you, Fury is closer to Voyage than it is to Vengeance at this point. So there we go.
You didn't get a night ride on Fury either.
I have not.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from with that. That top 3 is always
it's
respectable.
respectable.
Yeah.
I think Voyage is my 4 or 5, so it's completely understandable.
I'm sorry, that rant just put us over the 2-hour mark. I apologize.
Yep.
No, it's fine.
Well, you got to take out. There's a couple we have to take
Good
out a
point.
bit at the beginning and a bit at the end. So it'll be. But then you add the intro and outro, and we're right back over. So
That's right. Okay, let's wrap it up. Follow us at Twisted_Travelers on Instagram, at Twisted Traveler, but the R is a 1 on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram at Twisted Travelers. Chris, Jack.
At Thrilling Moment on Twitter and Instagram, Bryant.
At Coaster365 on Twitter, with potentially more platforms coming up in the next year and a half.
Foreshadowing.
And of course, join the Discord in the description down below. If you feel like donating to the show, the Patreon link is down there, as is a link to purchase Allison's book and links to Bryant's social. So go check all of those out. And we will see you in 2 weeks.
That's right. Thank you for listening. Next week. Bye. Or 2 weeks. Yep, that one. Bye.
What he said.
Thanks for listening to the Twisted Travelers Podcast.